Good morning, good morning. I'm just jumping on to see. Good morning, good morning. Let me see. Am I on here? Yes. How are you all today? Monday morning is another beautiful week. And today I really wanted to talk about being in alignment, because we can actually find ourselves really stuck on the planet, right? Really stuck in this environment, in our day-to-day living, constantly, waking up and not really focusing on what we want to create for the day, but just going, oh, here's another day, or not even being conscious of the thoughts that we're having. We go straight into what our unconscious wants to talk to us about. Maybe what happened yesterday, what we've got to do today. And we just go straight into this, having to get things done. Maybe you've got to go to work, maybe you've got to take the kids to school, maybe you've got whatever it is, right, that you've got to do. Our unconscious can start going into doing, and old patterns of behavior around that doing, right? And so how do we live our truest nature and purpose, right? How do we actually live in the space of our creative nature, being a being that's here to experience the planet, living in. Good morning, Pamela. Oh, I've just for the first time seen that I've got comments on the side. A misty morning in Queensland. Oh, that must be beautiful. And so all of the things that we do, we can get so caught up in being down here on the planet, running this gauntlet of the conscious and the unconscious, and this swing, this pendulum going backwards and forwards, wanting to achieve the fullest expression of ourselves, wanting to experience our beautiful, enlightened, aligned woman or being, wanting to live our true essence. And we wake up, and day to day, we just find ourselves being conditioned and following this thread, and I'll get to this one day, I'll get to this one day, and get to this one day, I'll do this differently one day. And it never happens, because one day is never there. It's this day, right? It's this day now. And where I'm going with this is that we have another level of consciousness that is way more expansive than this limited being that we experience ourselves as. The part that's conscious and unconscious. Yes, absolutely, Pamela. That's why I love starting with essential oil mini meditation. Is having the focus, right? Is having the clarity, is setting the intention and being on purpose. Because when you're on purpose, you then get the opportunity to expand into more of who you are, the aligned being that you are, with that higher aspect, that source that is full of potential, because it's tapped into this river or sea of life. There's all of these possibilities when we actually recognize ourselves as more than just this limited individual. My name as an individual is Elizabeth, put your name there. We identify with that part of ourselves and then see ourselves as limited. So all of the I can't do this, I don't know how, I'm not capable, it's not going to be perfect, I'm not perfect, I don't belong, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. All of the worries, fears and doubts, like the good girl syndrome, the people pleaser, doing for others all the time and not actually seeing where we want to be, the creative force in our own life. All of these things we get trapped in. We get conditioned to believe in that that's actually who we are, and we actually are way more expansive than that. We came as a premise. We came here as a spirit from a collective that's way more expansive, that has all knowledge, past, present and future, everything that ever was, ever will be, and ever it will be ever experienced, is already in this now moment, in this collective consciousness that we actually can tap into, because it's actually who we are. We have this ability to step into that higher aspect of ourselves and live our life from this creative orientation and choosing to experience our life the way we want to experience it. Having so-called miracles happen, flowing with this river that once you recognize yourself as being part of this bigger picture. And the bigger picture, if you're new to Women of Light, or to talk, listening to anything that I've got to say, I call that beautiful aspect another part of our consciousness, which I call superconscious, right? So we've got our unconscious, which is old patterns of behavior that wants to keep us safe and alive, right? So it's really limited to this time-space reality and who we are. We've got our consciousness, that is the part of us that's growing and making choices and making judgments and assessments of what's right and wrong and all of those things. And then we've got this beautiful aspect of ourselves that we can tap into if we choose, and most people don't even recognize it, is what I call the superconscious. You can call it your higher self, your higher wisdom, divine being, the guides that a lot of people, angels, archangels, guides, all of these aspects that we can tap into and use as tools to support us, are part of that superconscious energy, that creative spirit, that are there to guide us. On the weekend, we had a massive storm here, and at the end of the storm, we often get these really, really beautiful rainbows. And of course, there was this double rainbow. It was the full arc. And a rainbow is a really beautiful analogy of who we are, because light, when you look at light, when you see light, if you were to see just white light, when it's fractured, it becomes all of the different aspects of the rainbow, right? All the different colors. And so that's who we are. We are this fracture of the all of this light that has been fractured itself to experience. And so we have the opportunity to connect in to those different aspects, right? They're still us. They're still part of who we are. Our guides, our angels, archangels, God, all of all of those different parts are, we are an aspect of those parts. So why is it important to connect into those parts? Why is it important to connect in with those parts, right? We could just live our life wake up in the morning, oh, it's Monday again, oh, I've got to go to work, oh, you know, blah, 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 blah happened, oh, I'm supposed to have done that, didn't do it, the weekend didn't happen the way I thought it was, blah, 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 blah. All of this stuff, right? All of this stuff that can happen if we're staying stuck here. But when you recognize yourself and give yourself permission to open up to the more that you are, the expansion that you are, the recognition of wholeness that you are, when you see yourself as that creative genius and open yourself up to that, your life is guided by yourself, but it's guided intuitively. There is a tangible energy to connecting with your higher self, that higher capacity that you are, and your life flows way more conducively with what it is that you want to create. Your life becomes magnetic to what you want to create, and your creation is not something that is from a limitation. You know, I'm choosing to have a beautiful relationship because, you know, I had trauma when I was a child, or, you know, my parents separated, or whatever it might be. I'm choosing that because I'm trying to fulfill something from my unconscious to fill a hole in this individual, right? When you're just limited to your conscious and your unconscious, you're generally trying to fill a hole from some sort of wounding or trauma, some sort of lack, right? But when you step into that higher aspect of yourself, when you really surrender to that recognition of being part of a bigger experience, a bigger whole, when you do that, you start recognizing why you're here. You start recognizing the wisdom that's coming through you. You start recognizing your intuitive nature. You start recognizing that there's way more for you to experience than what you're experiencing now. You start feeling how to do that, how to experience that more now, so that you're actually magnetically attracting all that you want to create. You start experiencing love relationships because they are naturally an aspect of being in flow with being, you know, an aligned woman, an aligned being. You experience abundance because abundance is everywhere. You start experiencing these things as being who you are. And what happens is, as you experience these things, you intuitively start growing, and, you know, when it comes to being in business or a career, or, you know, your health, or your ability to create love in your life, all of these things become way more easier because you're working with yourself, not against yourself. When you are living just in the conscious and the unconscious, you've actually separated yourself from all of who you can be, and you're limiting your abilities to grow and expand and to achieve what you came here to achieve, to experience all that you possibly could, the capacity that you have. Because when you're just in your conscious and unconscious, you're only being able to, it's like having, you know, a list, and you only get to tick those lists that list, because the list is limited. Whatever is in your unconscious is actually only limited to the experiences that you've had as a child, conditioning that you've had as a child, generational history that might be in your DNA as well from generations past. So from an epigenetic point of view, you know, they do know that it's quite a few generations that we're holding. So if you've had family members that, you know, who hasn't? We've had a history, a human history of regressions and recessions and wars and famines and you know, poverty and you know, the suppression of women and, you know, and minority groups. We have had so much as a society, as a human evolutionary growth. We've been in this baby cycle, you know, and all of that is still stuck in our DNA, all of that information. So when you're working with just your conscious and your unconscious, there's limitation to you. So you've got to use your mind to work things out, and your mind has only got the capacity to wire together the neural pathways from previous experiences. And generally those are recognition of not being good enough, not worthy, don't belong, not capable, not perfect, not feeling safe. And so when you are going for that promotion or trying to create a new business or you know, living with a brand new partner or, you know, wanting to create more money or health or you know, living your dream, being able to go to university, be the first in your family that's been to university, for example. All of those things, if you're just using your unconscious and your conscious, you're only going to be able to pick up information on how to do that from that data bank, that list. And if it's not on that list of how to do that, then you're screwed, right? That's when you start being distracted. That's when you sabotage yourself. That's when you start getting somewhere and then next thing you find yourself back. That's when you don't take the risks because of fear of failure or fear of success. That's when generally there's a lot of throat chakra stuff, right? Where we block ourselves, we don't express ourselves, we don't come to our purpose and understand how to use our expression and our creativity to expand into that new being that we're going to be. When we're just working with those two things, the conscious and unconscious, we are very limited. So connecting in with that higher source of yourself, that part of you that is so much more expansive, that all of us have the opportunity to experience because it is the collective that we all are. That's where all those codes came from, all those limitations in the first place. All those codes came from that place where there's just this massive information, everything there's ever been. When we can really step into that and open our hearts and surrender to that higher aspect of ourselves and let go of having to know how, and just it just comes, this intuition comes, this connection comes, this awareness comes, this knowing comes. Some people hear things, some people just have a knowing, some people see things. There's all these different, you know, we're all different, we're all individuals. We have different ways of getting to understand how to tap into that energy. And that's when these beautiful miracles happen, because when you're working with that higher wisdom of yourself, you know the path. You step into it. You feel what's the next step. You connect in. You don't think about the whole thing and how to get there. You just go with that little thing, that nudge, the bread trails, that the breadcrumbs, right? That your higher aspect, potentially your guides, your angels, the archangels, everything aligns and wants to support you to be everything that you possibly can. And so when you are in that space, the promotions come easy, the finances and the abundance comes easy, the health moves into alignment, the people that you meet fall into place, the things that happen with ease and effortlessness. I'm running on tomorrow night, actually, I'm running a webinar called Rewire Your Heart for Love. And we're going to be talking about this higher aspect of ourselves and really working with that, to that aspect of ourselves, to really connect into our love for self, clearing all of the, you know, the old patterns of behavior that are conflicting that, and really being able to step into our higher self so that we know intuitively how to align with those beautiful people that are waiting for us, that want to love us dearly, right? For those that may be new to Women of Light, haven't, you know, I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you, I work in this way. This is what I do. I'm a magnetic mind coach, and I support women mostly to align with what it is that they want to create, and to move forward without all of the baggage that's holding us back, without the resistance, and to really tune into that superconscious, that other higher aspect of ourselves. I have been working with doing this for about coming up to 3 years now. I've been a healer and mentor for 25 years this year. This year is going to be a big one in September, when Women of Light turns 4, and I've been working as a healer for 25 years. So the last 3 years, it feels like all the pennies dropped, and the integration of that higher being, that superconscious energy, just came into form and came into this fluid movement and moment, and you know, my whole world changed. It's been a really, really beautiful experience, including intuitively just going to the beach one day and being the only person on the beach, I thought, and this beautiful man walking past, and that was on the 16th of January last year, and we have spoken and hung out pretty much every day since, and he just proposed to me on Valentine's Day. So and we've moved in together. We're just having this amazing journey together, and I would have missed him, right, if I hadn't have been listening to my intuition, if I'd been stuck in my old patterns of behavior and not feeling good enough or worthy of love. You know, being able to clear all of that stuff so that I was in line with what needed to happen for me to really be connected in to what I need to experience here, or what I choose to experience here as myself, as Elizabeth, this time around. So if you're interested in being part of that webinar, it's on tomorrow night, 7:30 Sydney time, so that's 6:30 Queensland time, and just put a yes please in the chat and we'll be able to send you the link. I'm also creating a 12-week online event course called Empowering Love Relationships, and it's going to be my first event outside of my Conscious Creator 12-month course that's going to be really specific about building love relationships. So regardless of whether you're in a relationship or not, and you want to move into a more aligned state with the partner, your future partner, or the partner that you still have, then it's definitely the course for you, right? So Francine, I'll if that's how you pronounce your name, we'll definitely get the link to you. And thank you, Esther. Yeah, it's been a really beautiful experience. It's so nice to be connected in and living the life that you truly choose to live, without all those old limitations and things that hold us back, that stick onto our body, you know, and our energy field and our auric field. And to be able to really step into our own sovereignty is a really beautiful experience. So take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week. I hope that you're supporting yourself to stand in connection with your higher self, with that super conscious aspect of yourself. Really align with that. Every single day is really important to you know, start your day with a meditation and really starting to get to know and build a relationship with your higher self, so that your energy and your life is flowing well. Take care, everyone.